Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I got lost in my craft room and made a mini bee gnome. He's cute. If you'd like to make him, just boop, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here. I'm going to show you the front, the back, the sides, everything. This was something I started to clean my craft room and got lost because I found those. I love the little bounce. They really bounce. Okay, so this is a stash brusher. I'm using a K-cup. I'll give you some options. 5 inches of a wrapping paper inside roll here. There you go. I'm going to use the hearts here. They're like little wooden hearts for the base and the wings. To weight it, I'm going to use Dollar Tree vase filler. There are these little rocks. You can use anything you have on hand. To cover the wrapping paper roll, I'm going to use this black velvet fabric, some scraps of faux fur, a little wood bead for a nose, and then for the bees, I'm actually going to use floral wire to create a spring, black paint, twine, and these adorable little foam and felt bees. I got these on Amazon almost a year ago, and I've used them on other sites, but not Ruffles and Rain Boots, so I'm going to put that link for those down below. To get started, I'm using a K-cup here because I had it from my morning coffee, and I hate recycling things if I can use them. So I just used a little black acrylic paint, painted the inside brim just at the bottom, and then the entire K-cup black. If you don't have a K-cup, you can create this hat using a paper roll. You can create it using cardstock, and you can also create it using the little metal pails you get at the Dollar Tree in the party favor section. Once that was all painted, not very well, because it's again just in case the twine shows through, I dried it using my heat gun, and then I'm going to set that aside for just a second while we work on the base and the body. This is 100% optional. I just kind of wanted to see if I could. Again, I'm supposed to be cleaning, so if I can delay that in any way, I'm gonna. So after I got the hot glue off the end of my pencil, I'm going to just put the body on and then trace that arc to see if I can score these little wooden hearts and then break it off successfully. I wanted to see because I have another project in mind. I'm just using a ceramic finger knife. This is from Fiskars. I got it at Joann's, and it's surprisingly did a really good job, but I'm pretty sure you could just cut this with scissors too. You may have to cut it at little angles, but either way, I got out the sanding block. So scissors, knife, doesn't matter. Just make sure it's not going to give you a splinter because I tend to do that to myself. So this fabric is a black 4-way stretch crushed velvet. It's the worst fabric I've ever bought in my entire life. It's so hard to work with. So I figure it's been in my craft stash for 8 years because I bought it for a little princess on a dress-up dress for my daughter when she was 2. I made her an entire set of dress-up dresses. They were featured by Parents Magazine, in fact. But this fabric literally has been in my craft room since that day. So I figure I'm going to use it up as best I can, and I'm just going to spread out some glue on that paper roll and then roll it around, and it's stretching and it's warping because that's the nature of the fabric, but it worked out really well. I like when you're using a velvet or a crushed velvet because it captures the light and makes it look iridescent even though it's black. I did end up using a little bit extra fabric so that I can create a faux hem and then glue that down. On each of the ends, I just cut it into tabs and then glued each of those tabs down. No idea why I did the top because literally no one is ever going to see that. But again, I need to waste time so I don't have to clean my craft room. I had a little bit of hot glue strings on it, so all I did was hit it with a heat gun and biggity bam, they disappear. See, now they're all gone. All right, setting that all aside, we're going to get to the best and worst part of this little craft. So all I'm going to do is, starting on the inside brim, I'm going to place a little string of twine here. This is the Dollar Tree twine, and I'm just going to layer it over and over and over, starting on the inside and going all the way around. This is the longest part of this project. It took me 15 minutes. I listen to Audible books when I craft. Oh, somebody in the Facebook group, and then a whole bunch of people said that they watch TV while they craft in their craft rooms. I would literally cut a finger off if I tried to do that. So I wanted to ask you all, do you craft with the TV on? And if so, how do you keep all your digits? All right, so when I got to the top, I just rolled up a little piece of aluminum foil and then glued that directly on top. Because it was so shiny, I took a scrap of that fabric that had fallen on my floor and cut a piece to cover up so the shine wouldn't come through. And then I just continued the twine all the way up and made a nice little mound for it. See? So if you have been on rufflesandbrainboots.com, you know I love making beehives out of the Dollar Tree gardening pots and their rope. Such a fun craft. You can use it outside and inside. So go check those out if you want like a cute spring display. I hit it with the heat gun to make sure I didn't have any glue strings, and then I cut an oval from black felt to make my opening. Now to make the rounds, like the build-up, I just put a little twine and then looped it around the outside, securing it all the way around, and then repeated that, stacking the twine on itself about 4 times, and then securing that end like kind of around the edge so you didn't see it. This is a lot easier with large rope, but this, like I said, this whole entire part took 15 minutes. All right, so once that is done, I end up hitting it with the heat gun again just because my craft room is cold. I didn't turn on the I have a little space heater that warms me to the bones, and I didn't turn it on. All right, so I'm going to do the unthinkable and hack off half of this little bee so that I can put him in the opening. Now, yeah, he looks gargantuan compared to the opening, which I didn't think about until I put him in. But it's, you know, it is what it is, and I still love it. So I put that little fabric scrap of fur when I test fit the hat to know where I put it. I just want it right up under the hat. And then for the wooden bead nose, I split the fur to its fabric backing and added a piece or a generous portion of hot glue. I'm going to point the opening of the bead out and up so that I can hide it under the hat and you can't see the bottom hole opening. I added hot glue both to the inside of the hat, to the top of the nose, and the body, and that way I could make sure I had a nice secure join. I also glued the back on just a little bit to make sure I had it on securely. For the inside weight, I'm just going to add hot glue around the inside on the cardboard part, not on the fabric, and then I'm just going to place these little rocks on it. That's it. I didn't want it to be full. You don't need it to be heavy. You just need it to have a little more bottom weight. Because I cut off the back of that heart, I needed to add a little weight. Put some hot glue on the inside and then pop that onto your little heart. So just so you know, I was going to keep the natural wood color of the beak and the bee wings that we're going to make in just a second, but because I have a dark wood tiered tray, I ended up painting both of those to have a more vibrant contrast. But I really do like the natural wood look and may make another one. All right, so once that's on there, I'm going to set it aside so it secures. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to the top edge of one heart and then place the other side edge of one right on top of that, and it creates a cute little set of wings. While that is setting, I'm going to end up painting this base black. Again, I did that to have a bit of a contrast on the wings for my tiered tray, but you can leave them natural. It's very farmhouse rustic with the natural wood. While that is drying, I'm going to wrap the floral wire around a pencil so I get a nice little spring, and then I'm going to add a little length at the bottom so that I can tuck this and secure it up under sort of the side of the hat right here. I did tape my little fur out of the way when I was painting the base, just FYI. To make it secure, because I knew I was going to bunk this thing every time I walked by, I added a little hot glue to the end of the wire and then pressed it into the bee. So it's a felt outside but foam inside, so it works really well. I am going to paint the wings all over with white chalk paint, and before it dries, I'm going to take everyone's favorite craft supply glitter, and I'm just going to add a little sparkle because I'm extra. But because I despise finding glitter everywhere, I am also going to take Mod Podge and secure that glitter in place. I did 2 coats of Mod Podge to make sure it stayed. Hit it with a hot glue gun and then add a hot glue hit it with the heat gun and then added hot glue to the very top and the back so that I could secure it not only to the body, but also to the underside of the hat, making it rock solid. And here you are. What do you think of this little bee scrap busting gnome? That's my favorite part. As always, thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe for more crafty fun.